What's up, everybody? Well, there's a thing of topic right now, which is boxing gloves. Well, I think if we want to have a topic of boxing glove and stuff like that, and because a lot of the stuff that's going around here is very vague on what a boxing glove is. But let me take you down memory alley. Well, back in around 1773, there was a guy named Jack Broughton or John Broughton, and he invented the first glove. Some would say he invented the first glove for those little pansy ass motherfuckers that don't want to get their face beat up during exercising, or those pansy motherfuckers don't want to get caught hanging around with those brutes. So they wear gloves. And then later on, it was found out those gloves were actually a really good idea because not only did they protect the fighter's fist, but they also attacked the opponent's face. And as you can assume, back in 1773 and the 1800s, having cuts, missing teeth, and all kind of over the bone injuries, face bone injuries and stuff like that was hellacious. Not only if you thought about how much money those guys were making, how many fights that they had to have a week, or how many fights that they had to have a month. Hell, sometimes, those guys probably had to have a few fights in a day to make ends meet. But how do you do that and get past your injuries while bare knuckle fighting? And we all know what bare knuckles can do to you. Whether or not this as plaster in the ring, or as bare knuckles fighting and looking at those guys' faces, or early days of Kimbo Slice, or in your own lifetime and actually watching motherfuckers get knocked out in the streets and see how their face looked afterwards from taking some hellacious raw fist punches. So let's going back to it. So Mr. Broughton, he created the first glove. He was actually a bare knuckles fighter himself. He had some notable wins on his record as well. They say he created some rules. And then the rules that he created, I'm going off the top of the dome. The rules that he created ended up becoming the London prize ring rules, or London ring prize rules, something like that. And then they evolved into becoming the Queensberry rules. And even the Triple BOC even credits John Broughton, or Jack Broughton, because I believe he was born John, but people call him Jack, for actually creating the first set of rules that, bare knuckle fighting rules, boxing rules, and all that stuff, because it all evolved into boxing. And I believe that was around the next set of rules, probably like 1843, the London prize ring rules. I think that was around 1843. And then after that, the Queensberry rules came around. I could be getting it mixed up. Like I said, I'm going off the top of the dome. But I'm just trying to tell folks, just face the facts. These gloves were created. Gloves were created to protect the fighter's hands and his opponent's face. Okay. Now, after the creation of the boxing gloves, the reason why rules kept getting, let's hit into Jack Broughton's rules. There's 6 rules. I believe it was like no gouging, no resin, no stones in hand, no kicking, no hitting the man while he's down, and something else, some other unmanly shit. Now people were also saying back then that wearing gloves were unmanly and stuff like that. But eventually people caught on to it, especially the fighters, because they start noticing that they can actually fight more often. Especially they got their opponent out of there real quick, and he didn't go to the 21st round and stuff like that. And, you can fight the next day if you got him out there quick. But the London prize ring rules came out. They say was because people were lasting longer. And there had to be something done. I remember watching an article, reading an article, a boxing article, early 1900s. The police had to actually stop the fight and save a fighter from himself because he's about to die. They said he got lucky. The police stepped in and stopped the fight. But that was one of the bad things about it. The new type of boxing gloves is that, when you're bare knuckle fighting, you have the tendency to hit the soft tissues. But when you're when you're bare knuckle fighting, you have the tendency to hit the soft tissues. But when you have the gloves on, you tend to hit for the head more often than not, which time and time of blows upside your head ends up creating more damage lasting effects and making the bouts last longer. So they created more rules, and that started off with the London Prize Ring rules, or the London Ring Prize rules, one of the two. And then after that, it was the Queensberry rules. I believe the London Prize Ring rules, I believe they had some rounds in there. I think when the gloves first came out, I think they were like 2 to 5 ounces. I think they had specifications on the ring size. I think it was like 24 feet. And so not allowing people in the ring. You can't have no seconds in the ring during the course of the fight. The rounds, the break time, so it got more standardized. But for all you guys out there, I just hate to break it to you. Gloves were actually designed and invented to protect the boxer's hands and his opponent's face. Sorry. So there's, the problem is none of the boxing commissions and none of these boxing organizations have a concrete specification on what a boxing glove is. They don't have one. There's all types of patents out there that specify how much padding is here and there, but then you come across the line of custom-made gloves, orthopedic gloves, all types of gloves out there that's made differently than the actual original patent. So we saw the other day, boxing gloves get rejected not by a team, but by a boxing commission. Okay, the Roman and the Foster fight, those gloves were denied by the boxing commission. The team brought it up. The boxing commission denied both gloves. There's a difference between the boxing commission denying both gloves and a fighter just denying the fight because you don't want to wear certain gloves that they want to. There's a difference. Okay? I think that these boxing commissions and these boxing organizations need to come out with a better definition of what a boxing glove is, because what they're using right now is too broad. It's too vague to where you can do virtually anything that you want to. You know what I'm saying? It's too vague. They need to make it more. I mean, they got a list of approved gloves and stuff like that, but when you have time and time again, Collector Reyes gloves getting put into question, or what's the ones, the Grant gloves get called into question, you got to start thinking about something. And it shouldn't be, oh, well, your glove gets here the same night as the fight, when your glove ain't even been tested. Because I would assume there's some type of field testing that needs to be done with the glove before it gets put into action in the ring to see how it holds up, to see if the actual design of it breaks down over time in the course of the ring. See what I'm saying? There's a reason why some people say, oh, this has been field tested. The reason why they say it has been field tested is because now you know in the combat scenario how it will hold up. It has stood the test of time in the field. So I hope you guys go back and whoever listens to this, hope y'all listen to it in entirety. But I also hope that you guys go out there and do your own research with these glove things to see what they were actually made and designed for. So you won't actually just go by what the fuck I'm saying and actually go with what you read. And, I'm going to reiterate again. Boxing gloves were designed to protect your fists and your opponent's face. On that note, shout outs to the LDBC and everybody stay sucker free.